What's going on? I'm AnokhiTheOne, back with another video, and in this video, I will be talking about how y'all need to call the hitman. Ask for your money back. Ask for your money back. And what do I mean? I'm sure y'all can imagine. This is for all the people who, have been experiencing spiritual warfare in, the past couple years or maybe even your whole life, where you've experienced just resistance after resistance. You've experienced haters. You've experienced, people trying to stop you, people trying to slow you down, people trying to give you negative energy. As you're going on your path, you've experienced snakes and all kinds of different things. This is for y'all. It's for y'all, but it's also for the haters. This is a direct message. If the shoe fits, wear it. Please wear it. If the shoe fits, wear it. Okay? And so this is for y'all. This is for y'all. I might even speak directly to y'all. I might speak, when I'm saying you, I might mean you. Okay? And so this is for y'all. Like, look, call them back. Call them back. And I'm sure y'all just trying to figure out. And what does a hitman look like? For some people, there are people out here y'all don't even realize, right? I didn't see, because I don't think like this, because I'm not a hater like that. Of course, nobody believes that they're a hater, but not really. I don't be giving that type of energy. But people really be out here casting spells on people. People really be out here paying people to cast spells on people. People really be out here paying people to take people out. People really be out here setting people up, whether it's at work, whether it's, in relationships. People be paying people, y'all be seeing this stuff on movies, and people really be out here doing these things, going out of their way, using their hard-earned money to pay for the demise of other people. Using their hard-earned energy, attention, their voice to speak ill on other people. And I'm going to just tell y'all, and I know y'all are wondering, right? I mean, some of y'all who have seen, the first podcast, y'all are just like, what? Why didn't it work? Bitches. How come it didn't work? What happened? What happened? I want my money back. I'm going to tell you right now. Call them. Call them. Ask for your money back. I've been waiting for this podcast for a minute. Ask them for their money back. Tell them get your money back. Tell that spell worker, whoever it was doing, y'all in the mirror. Y'all done went on YouTube and TikTok and Witch Talk. Y'all goofy ass motherfuckers then went on TikTok and looked up some kind of Witch Talk or whatever, and looked up some kind of spell. Y'all motherfuckers looking at my pictures and shit. Y'all motherfuckers over candles and doing all this. Trying to call on ancestors that you ain't never heard of, that ain't yours, right? Trying to get somebody. Trying to figure out a way to slow me down. Meanwhile, now I was quiet, so you wouldn't even know. And even if y'all did figure out, I was struggling for whatever years, right? Even if y'all did figure out I was struggling for whatever years, and y'all thought y'all was winning. Y'all thought y'all was winning. Y'all thought y'all was out here doing something. Woo! Y'all thought y'all was out here doing something. But guess what? Guess what? guess what? It didn't work. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I'm not. I didn't go. I ain't go nowhere. Matter of fact, where I went, where I went. Some of y'all on the other end, like, this girl, what is she talking about? What is she on? I mean, I feel like y'all can understand if y'all seen that first podcast, that first comeback podcast. I'm sure y'all can understand, 'cause it was a full out war. It was a full out war. But what you actually did, okay? And I'm talking to y'all, the ones who paid the hitman, right? The ones who was trying, right, to tear me down. Y'all didn't want to see me. Some of y'all didn't even want to see me on this earth. Crazy, right? What y'all paid for, okay, what y'all ended up paying for, what y'all worked so hard for, what y'all gave all that energy to do, right, for me, that y'all had for me, right? What y'all did was y'all paid for my boot camp. All y'all did was pay for boot camp. Okay, y'all just paid for my boot camp. Y'all paid, for my initiation. That's what y'all did. Y'all paid for my spiritual initiation. Y'all was working hard for me. That's what y'all really did. That's what y'all really ended up doing. 'Cause you see, what ended up happening, what had happened was, right while y'all doing all this, y'all trying to, summon whatever the hell y'all think y'all trying to do, while y'all congregating, while y'all hating and gossiping, while y'all talking all this shit, don't matter whoever you are, if the shoe fits, wear it. While y'all doing all that, right? I could lash out, I could, be a victim, I could complain and whine and whatever. And I had those times. I had tears. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm laughing about it now. I shed tears. I went through struggles. I went through heartaches. It was hard. But while I was there, while I went through my boot camp, while y'all paid for my boot camp, I was out here working spiritual muscles. I was out here learning about my ancestors. I was out here learning how to pray. I was out here learning how to lean not into my own understanding. I was learning how to surrender to God. I got close with my guardian angels. I got close with my ancestors. I got close to God. I got on God's team. Oh shit. While y'all over here playing in darkness trying to tear me down, I'm up here getting hands on, exercise workouts, boot camps from my guardian angels, from God. Okay, I'm exercising my faith muscle. I'm getting swole spiritually over here. I'm out here getting swole. Now, y'all talking all this shit. Y'all doing all this shit. Y'all, they're paying for my boot camp. Woo! And then when she bust out, now I was quiet about it while I was, down. I was quiet about it while I was up. But really, neither one was up or down, because the down part was really just the practice. And when I got the practice down, when I was out here doing my boot camp, like, it's been 10 minutes and I ain't said nothing direct, but y'all know, if y'all was doing it, y'all know what I'm talking about. So while I was down there, I'm not even gonna say down there, right? While I was in my boot camp preparing for battle, and then we sat up there and whooped y'all's ass, okay? Spiritually, whooped y'all's ass, okay? And then I was able to actually exercise all that I had learned while y'all thought y'all was doing something. While y'all thought y'all had won. Okay, and then your girl bust out. Okay, y'all didn't even know I bust out. Right? But I'm busting out. I'm popping off. And y'all not finding out till after the fact. Okay, now I'm already in mode. Now I'm already rolling. Now I'm already rolling. Y'all thought y'all was winning. Y'all thought y'all was doing something. Ha 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 ha. Ugh. I just need to get that out. I need to get that out. You know what I'm saying? I need to get that out. But moving right along. Now, these dark periods we will all face, and this is continuing in the mode of what I've been talking about on how, you know, dealing with spiritual warfare and being protected, and also elevating, being on a high vibration, and not allowing snakes, thieves, and haters, people that are jealous, not allowing them to pull you down to their level, but actually allowing them to train you to become a spiritual warrior, right? Allowing them to be a part of your initiation, right? Allowing them to be a workout, a boot camp, right? And it took me, like, I've been preparing. I've been preparing for these types of battles, right? Like, ever since my dad passed away, and I talk about that a lot because that was a big awakening. That time is where I awakened to the other realms of reality. Like, this ain't it. This ain't it. There's other things. There's more to life, right? There's more things going on. Like, there's more reasons why certain people act the way they act than just, what we can see with our physical eyes, right? There's more, there's beyond, right? And and then, right after me being awakened to that there's a beyond, and then me coming out, and some people don't want to, they'll try to dismiss what I'm saying here, but it goes hand in hand with it, because that was a part of my awakening. Because when I came out, it revealed to me all the hypocrisies of the spiritual leaders, right? For one, and the spirit, and the way people teach the Bible, right? And it exposed me to the fact that I had never really even read the Bible on my own before I came out. I never felt prompted to just sit there and read the Bible, right? The only thing I ever read from the Bible is what the pastor told me to read it, and as he's telling me his interpretation of what is being said, right? I never actually read it for myself and meditated on the word like they say to do, right? Without anybody else telling me what it's supposed to say, right? And so, and I never had a desire to heal until till that time, because I never heard in church. It's just so weird. In church, I just never heard them talk about healing. The only time I heard them talk about healing is when they talk about, oh, Jesus healed the sick, Jesus healed this, Jesus healed that. But I almost never hear them talk about how we should heal from things like, our upbringing, or from, experiences we had in work, or experience we had in school, or experience we have as, whatever race a person, or whatever, sex that we are, or whatever, healing. That's a big important thing, right? And so, as far as like the boot camp, right? Like, if you're fighting in a war, if you're fighting in a battle, if you're a soldier, if you're a warrior, well, how are you going to be, like, if you're injured before, like, a lot of us, before we become to adulthood, we got all kind of wounds and injuries, right? That we are never told to heal from, right? And by design, think about this. In that book, I talked about outwitting the devil. I named one of my podcasts, in the beginning, but in the book, Outwitting the Devil, it talks about, and it's deep. That's why I love that book, because it breaks stuff down, on a level that's just like I've never heard, and I completely understand. That book didn't come out until the 2000s. That man wrote that book in the 1930s. His wife was so scared for his life when he wrote that book that she said, "You better not release that book anytime while I'm alive, because I don't want to have to deal with, the repercussions," right? And so, but in that book, he asks, he's pretty much interviewing the devil about how he tricks people and how to outwit the devil, right? And he talks about how he pretty much starts to try and injure people in the womb before they even come out the womb. How can we destroy these people? How can we destroy the children before they're even born? Okay, so that after they're born, how can we destroy them the second they come out the womb? And if you've been deep paying attention with shots and all kinds of different things going on, and even the school system, you will see how that is done. And he talks about, when it comes to education and religion, they have a whole chapter on it, right? And how, a large backing of it is to injure the child before they even become adulthood, before they even have a fully developed brain. How many ways can we injure the child? How many ways can we injure a person so they're always weak, so they can never fight back or become definite in their purpose and clear in their intention and clear in what they want and clear in where they want to be and be free, so they can never be free, right? And so, first things first, heal. First things first, how are you even going to get yourself in a mode to be able to defend yourself spiritually, emotionally, physically if you're injured, right? A lot of us are, everybody walking around, we're cool, but we're mentally injured. We have some serious mental injuries. We have some serious spiritual injuries, right? We're wounded spiritually, we're wounded mentally, right? We're wounded emotionally, right? And we've never taken the time to heal. We ain't never gotten in the ice bath. And to think about it, how uncomfortable is it to sit in an ice bath, right? After you work your muscles. When you're sore, your muscles pretty much are tearing, but it's because you're growing new muscles. Like your muscles are growing, so it tears. So then, the best way to heal the fastest and to have to lower the pain and the inflammation is to get in an ice bath which is extremely uncomfortable. But then you can become comfortable with that uncomfort because you understand that the goal is worth the uncomfort that you feel in that moment when you're in that ice bath, right? So the same thing is happening when you start to heal, right? And so when you start to heal emotionally, when you start to heal spiritually, when you start to heal mentally, you start to heal your mind, then, right? When you start to heal your mind, for one, healing, if you're in a environment around people that are not in the process of healing, nowhere near in the process of healing, you're going to start to look and sound crazy to these people, right? Think about it. If you're healing mentally, right, and you're around a bunch of people who are not, they have all kind of mental injuries, right, and they're used to having mental injuries to the point where it's normal to them, well then you healing, you're becoming abnormal to them. You're becoming crazy to them, and then they become crazy to you. Y'all looking at each other like y'all crazy because y'all each other is crazy. It don't make sense the way you moving. It doesn't make sense the way you moving, right? Because you're not wounded like they're wounded anymore. You're starting to heal your wounds. You're starting to be able to move more frequently. Think about, like, imagine, if we were to be able to heal our physical body or build, and not even just imagine, like, think about you comparing yourself, you're a high trained athlete, right? Comparing yourself to somebody that sits around on a computer all day, right? And y'all are going toe to toe. The difference is going to be so drastic. It's just going to be ridiculous, right? It's like you're throwing this person out into the wolves, right? What do you think they're about to do? They can't even compete. They can't even compete. What's happening, right? And a lot of times, and when it comes to emotionally and mentally and spiritually, that person over here is getting dusted so bad they start getting pissed off at this one over here. Right? They pissed off. Y'all, oh no, you're cheating. You're cheating. Well, not really. You've been an athlete for your whole life, right? You've been working on this thing for your whole life. You've been grinding in this area your whole life, right? So, somebody, I think it's really interesting how my incense is just going straight up in the air. I raised my vibration, you feel me? So when you're healing mentally and spiritually and emotionally, and you're in an environment where like nobody's doing that, that's not the norm, right? For one, you're gonna look crazy, but at the same time, you are, the way you handle things are going to be totally different. The way you handle disappointment, the way you handle frustration, the way you handle failure is going to be different because you are healing from the injuries, right? So they don't affect you in the same way. Something that could happen to one person emotionally or spiritually or physically, something that can happen to one person that hasn't been healing, right? It could tear them completely, it could just be over for them, right? It could tear them apart so bad, they can't even fathom even, right? They can't even deal, right? But because you've been healing, you can experience the same thing and have a totally different reaction, have a totally different experience. And then when you take it to the next level, then you've been working really hard, you've been healing, and then once you get to a place where you have a good amount of healing, then you can start to really exercise and really build your muscles and build your strength and build your skills, build your emotional skills. So you go from being emotionally wounded, you go from being spiritually wounded, you go from being mentally wounded to now you're building up your mental skills. You're building up your telepathy. You're building up your spiritual skills. You're building up your ability to, receive guidance and trusting in your intuition. And even if you have psychic abilities in different ways, you're developing in experiencing that as well. And that's helping you when you're going through your everyday life. When it comes to emotionally, you're able to feel the energy in the room on a higher level than you could before, to where that alone, like me saying, when I talked about the snake, I could feel you could cut the tension with a knife. They got people in that same room. And I even explained that to some people. They got people in that same exact room that didn't feel anything. They didn't see anything. They didn't hear anything. They didn't feel the energy shift at all. Or they may have felt it, but because they're wounded emotionally, or because the same person has shifted their energy and treated them in that way so many times and they're used to it, they make excuses about it like it's normal. They talk about it like it's normal. And I'm like, oh, hell no, ain't nobody about to be, he ain't even say shit to me. But I can tell by that energy, he be walking around with that same energy with other people and cutting people down with his, like, actually talking crazy to him, right? He ain't even get to that point, and I'm like, oh, hell no, right? But that's because, it's easier to keep injuring somebody that's already injured. Now, when you start to heal, right, and you become you're not numb to those things anymore. Because think about it, if you're wounded in these spiritually, mentally, emotionally, right? And you get used to being in that wounded place, well, the only way you could even operate in there and continue to move around in there is if you numb yourself. You have to numb your feelings. You have to numb yourself spiritually, emotionally, and mentally, right? And so you've been numb. You're numb to it. So then when somebody else addresses it, you looking at them like, what are you talking? What is wrong with you? They're fine. What are you saying? Right? But then when that same person starts to really work and study themselves and become aware of their feelings, self-awareness, become aware of their feelings, start journaling, and when a certain situation happens, you're dissecting it. And that's what I started. I mean, I'm talking journaling has helped me so much. I probably have more journals than these books. But when you start to break down, like you have an experience and you feel a tense, something ain't right with that. Right? When you're starting to, something ain't right with that. I don't know exactly what it is, but I don't know. So you go in your journal, or however you do it. It may be just speaking out or whatever, and you know what? But they doing this towards me, and they don't act like that towards this other person. I don't like the tone. And it actually kind of made me feel away. And it actually reminded me of this time. And I actually kind of felt it in my chest when they said that. So you starting to journaling, you like breaking it down. And you're becoming more aware of how you feel in particular situations, right? And when somebody does something, and then you start to figure out, okay, when that happens, what could I do in the next time? Because sometimes when you allow stuff to happen, you injure yourself again because you feel away because you didn't do what you wanted to do. Whether it's somebody made you feel away and you just cuss them completely out, and then you end up feeling bad after it, or you end up having to suffer some kind of repercussions for how you reacted instead of consciously instead of reacting, deciding how you want to feel, deciding how you want to move forward with that, right, situation, right? And so for your own benefit, because you don't want to put yourself in bad karma, and that's a part of healing and developing mental, emotional, spiritual skills, is when certain things happen, instead of reacting, choosing how you want to feel, like responding instead of reacting. That's what I've been trying to get that word out. I'm like, what is the word that I'm trying to get out, trying to find? Instead of reacting, responding, right? And which, for Aries, that's not always easy. Because we be wanting to, okay? And I've never been a person that just goes off the handle. Like, I've always been a pretty chill person, but I can pop off. And I've, when I was younger, I would suppress the pop off, right? I would numb it, right? And, for a lot of my younger years, I was dang near mute, like super quiet. And over time, I realized that's not even really my personality, right? It's like I'm kind of both, right? It's partially my personality where I'm observant, I'm listening, I'm whatever, but it's not fully my personality. And so what I've learned to do is to address the situation, because I don't like confrontation, but I also don't like how I feel when I just let stuff slide. When I let it a little too much slide, I feel like I betrayed myself. And to me, sometimes, that is betraying yourself when you don't speak up, or when you don't speak your truth, and when you don't address issues, and then it comes up again and again and again. Or if you don't remove yourself, or if you're not in a position to remove yourself from a situation, right? And so, being able to, like, over time, because we all have these situations where, somebody just catch us off guard and say some crazy stuff and we not even ready. And then we go back, a day, we be thinking about it in our mind, like, you know what, I should have said this, I should have said that, I should let them say something else, let them say one more thing, and they be like, what's up, Amber? You know what? I thought that was. You end up looking crazy as hell. I feel like we all done that, or maybe it's just me. I don't know, but it's just like, especially if you're not that kind of person to, if you just a chill person, like you ain't got, like, leave me alone, right? And so, developing the ability to respond to life, right? Being proactive and responding to things in life, like that comes with healing, right? And so, in the vein of what I'm talking about, like, first off, it takes healing, right? It takes healing. And in those dark night of the soul or dark years, whatever, like what I talk about, the boot camp, right? Boot camp, getting me prepared, getting me ready, because some of y'all don't understand what's going on in the world. Y'all don't really realize where we're at in the world. But I think we all kind of have a feeling that stuff is about to pop off. We don't know what exactly, but not even about to pop off. Stuff is popping off. Like this morning, there was just this deep fog, and from my apartment, if I go into the parking garage, whatever, if I go on the rooftop, I can see the skyline extremely clear. I'm not far from the skyline, the Houston skyline, whatever. Why I get up in the morning, I see a fog warning, and it says extreme fog, and I've seen this before, in like around New Year's time. I literally could not see. You wouldn't even know that there was a skyline right there. You could not see it at all, right? I'm talking extreme fog. I've never seen no fog like this before in my life. And then I've seen stuff on social media talking about how there's this weird, strange fog in all 50 states, right? And I was talking to my spiritual mentor or guide, right? And she was telling me about the fog too, and I'm like, yeah, I've seen it on social media. She's older, she's an elder, so she don't really be on social media like that. But I was like, yeah, they were talking about that on social media, and so there is things going on, all right. And so, I didn't lower the vibe. The vibe didn't got lower. I gotta raise the vibration. See, that's why I haven't been. When I'm talking about that, I'm talking about my incense. That's why I haven't really been talking about current events too much, if you're wondering. And I don't really plan on talking too much about current events because, I find that at the end of the day, we're never gonna truly, truly know what's going on. And so to spend our energy like really focused on that, it really can deter you from your purpose. It's the same thing as like outwitting the devil. It's like, ultimately when it comes to that book, it all boils down to getting you to drift. Getting you to drift and get distracted and not be definite in your purpose and not be clear in your intentions and clear about your vision and where you want to go in life, right? And so that's one of the main reasons why I slowed down talking about, current events and stuff like that. But I've just really been focused on like, what do I feel guided to do in every given moment and just focusing on that, right? And so some of the things that I've been feeling guided to do has been to working on self-defense, and I'll make a whole video about this, but self-defense, guns, meditation, detoxing, getting my body right, inside and out. And really getting in tune with guidance. So those 2 years, like, I'm talking really real life spiritual boot camp, like really getting close to God, really listening, being quiet, getting quiet within myself and surrendering. And so to me, like, those principles, the things that I learned, the spiritual practices, the habits of gratitude and different things like that, I'm talking, it prepared me for this world that we're going into. Because even, people talking about, it's going to be a crash, and, just the fact that everything is so much more expensive already is a crash. But they keep talking about a complete, financial depression and all this other stuff. And, when you are deep spiritually, because in the way we're moving quickly, we're moving into a space where you can't just be book smart, you can't just be street smart, you also have to be spiritually smart, right? You have to have spiritual smarts, and you have to know how to lean on your intuition. You have to know how to trust your gut. You have to be emotionally aware. You have to be aware in all ways, not just aware of your physical surroundings. You have to be aware of your spiritual surroundings. You have to be aware of your emotional state more than ever, because, as far as physical sickness, when it comes to frequencies and vibrations and all these other things, it's so easy now for your thoughts to become things. Like, if you listen to, people that talk about, the towers and all kinds of different things like that, ultimately, what it goes down to, when I did my research in 2020, and all this other stuff, but what it all goes back to is frequency, right? Your greatest protection is going to be remaining at a high frequency. And in order to remain at a high frequency, you have to be aware of your emotional state and how your emotional state is affecting your physical state, how your spiritual state is affecting your physical state, and be able to catch things quickly, because people are dropping like flies, right? And people can just blame everything on the shot, which I think has a lot to do with it. If we're all going to be honest, everybody just knows deep down inside what it is, right? Because we've never seen anything like that. But it also is a combination. We also have towers all up in the city all around us, okay, that can cause a lot of these things to happen as well, in combination with the shots, in combination with these fogs where they're dropping who knows what into the air, okay, in combination. And ultimately, what that boils down to is, now we all have to evolve, right? We can complain, we can scream, we can cry, we can, say this is the problem, that's the problem. But ultimately, us as individuals, if we want to survive and thrive in the world that is coming and that is here, then we have to be evolved. Otherwise, we gonna be gone off this earth. Whether it's losing our minds, losing our bodies, our literal physical bodies, we just drop and we gone into the next realm, the upper room, or just you're just not gonna survive. You're just not gonna survive. Period. And so we just have to be elevated, and that's why when I say, not only do y'all need to call a hitman and ask for your money back, right? I'm talking to the haters again. I'm talking to the haters, the snakes, the people trying to tear me down. I'm talking to y'all again. Matter of fact, you need to ask them for your money back, and they need to send me a bill. Y'all need to send me a bill, because you did me a favor. I should be paying for that shit. You feel me? For what you tried to do. What you tried to do. Because, bitch, I mean, but seriously, I'm thankful. I'm thankful that y'all, y'all chose me. I'm so thankful that y'all chose me to fuck with. I'm so happy. I'm so thankful. I know I was not on a trajectory. I was not on the trajectory to make six figures in 2022. I absolutely wasn't. Without, all that dark energy coming to me, right? All the spell work, whatever y'all was out there doing. I'm talking to y'all. I'm talking to you fools, right? Without that, okay? And I don't want to give you too much credit. Okay, I don't want to give y'all all the credit, but I will give y'all some of the credit because y'all deserve some credit. I'm going to give y'all credit. Of course, y'all don't want to give me credit for shit. That was a part of it, the darkness. Y'all don't want to give me credit for nothing. But I'm going to give y'all some credit. I'm not going to be like y'all. I'm going to give y'all some of the credit. Okay, so I ultimately appreciate y'all. No, I really do. In my gratitudes, I be thanking y'all. I really be thanking y'all, right? But ultimately, the frequency of love, right? Because again, I don't want to give y'all too much credit, right? Y'all helped me with the boot camp, okay? But, once you start to heal, right? Once you start to expand and you start to be able to develop your skills, and then you start to be able to vibrate on the frequency of love, right? You start to be able to vibrate on the frequency of love. And if you have someone who can trigger that, even better, because the frequency of love, right, can accelerate that healing process, right? So I don't want to give y'all too much. I will give y'all some credit, but I don't want to give y'all too much credit because it was the frequency of love, the love frequency, and the transmutation of sex energy, right? That really, culminated to really make it just pop off completely, right? And so what the boot camp ultimately is, right? What, you developing these skills to ultimately keep people or keep outside forces, right? To keep them from keep them from having you be in a place where you can't receive and embrace love, where you can't be on the frequency of love, right? And so to me, and the religious people talk about, oh, when we come to this earth, we're born into darkness and we're born into destruction, we're terrible, we're sinners, and we have to be captured and blah, blah, blah. I don't believe that at all, one bit. Honestly don't. I think, well, for most of us, I don't know. They got some weird babies out here. I don't know. Some Jeffrey Dahmer ass babies. Some of them come out crazy. But I think for the most part, we come 100% in the frequency of love, right? And that's why I really resonate with, what is it? The Mastery of Love. It's over here somewhere. Boom. Don Miguel, The Mastery of Love. It really breaks this down in a way that I really resonate with. And it talks about how, and it kind of talks about kind of what I was talking about, like, being injured. And, we have to be injured heavily to keep us from being in the frequency of love, right? And, even in the Matrix, right, he's doing all he's battling, he's doing all this other stuff, but then he dies. And I talk about this in the interview with Sophia Stewart because, that registered to me when I watched the video, and I want to ask her about it. And I was surprised that episode, which would end up being the last episode of the series of the interview, the last episode was about love, the power of love, and how love brought Neo back to life, right? After he died, right? And so, that's what it all goes back to. And people talk about love as if it's this stupid thing that's trying to trick you or something, when ultimately that is the frequency that will save us all. That's the frequency that brings us to life. That's the frequency that makes our lives worth living for. It makes it worth fighting for, and it's scary because we believe that someone, if they don't treat us right or something like that, they can take that love away, but they can't ultimately, because if you're vibrating on the frequency of love, you will always find someone to love, right? You will always be able to attract love to you, because you're becoming love, right? And so with the healing, right, with the getting to a place where you're stable, you're pretty healed up to where you can start to develop those other skills. Ultimately, those skills are a skill to remain in love, right? To heal, you're healing yourself so you can become able to love, right? And then when you develop those skills, so you can remain in love. So even while, you have these snakes, you have these haters, you have these people that are, calling the hitman on you, right? Even while they're doing all this other stuff, you're healing, you're preparing for battle, you're becoming a warrior, right? So even if they throw all these things at you, it doesn't stop you from loving. It doesn't keep you from being a loving person. It doesn't keep you, it doesn't harden your heart, right? It doesn't kill your spirit. You still have a spirit, you still have a soul, you still have a heart, right? You still have that courage, you still have that love within you. And it doesn't matter what they do to you or do around you, you still have the strength, because you're a warrior, right? Because you're healing. And when they those hits that they give you is not affecting you as much. You're learning how to block, you're learning how to dodge, you're learning how to duck, you're learning how to cut their ass back, okay, chop, chop, pop, 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 back up, okay, or allowing your guides and your frequency to push them back, okay. So that's all I got for y'all, okay. I didn't expect this to come out, but I guess that's what it needed to come out. But like, subscribe, comment. I'll see y'all in the next video, and I'm out.